Hey viewers, today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to dual boot both Windows 8 Customer Preview and your main operating system, whether it's Windows 7 or Vista or XP. And the benefits of having dual boot is, since Windows 8 is only a Customer Preview, it is only a beta operating system, so it is not a good idea to use it as your main operating system. Very bad idea. So it's a good idea to keep your old operating system and then having the customer preview of Windows 8 as kind of just a preview. So, because the normal way to install an operating system is to wipe the old operating system and then install the new one on. And there's no point to that since this is only a customer preview. So, this is a good benefit. And some of the requirements you will need to do this is, for your computer, you're going to need a processor that's 1 gigahertz or faster. For the RAM and memory, you will need 1 gigabyte for a 32-bit computer and 2 gigabytes for a 64-bit computer. The hard disk space, you'll need 16 gigabytes of memory for the hard drive for a 32-bit computer and 20 gigabytes for a 64-bit computer. And last but not least, the graphics card needs to be a Microsoft DirectX 9 graphic device or higher. And I'll show you guys how to look at that stuff in just a few seconds, but we need to go over a few items and softwares we will need for this too. You will need a USB that is 4 gigabytes or higher, or you will need a clean, never been used before DVD. One or the other. You do not need both. Another thing you will need to download is the Windows 8 ISO installer, and I'll have a link and I'll show you guys how to do that later in this video, or soon in this video. And last but not least, for the items or software you'll need is a USB DVD tool, which will allow you to save the Windows 8 installer onto the USB or DVD, whatever you choose or have available. And let's get started. First, what you're going to want to do is download the Windows 8 ISO consumer installer. And let me scroll up here. This is it right here. This is on Microsoft's site, so obviously it has no viruses, so I'm not trying to scam you guys or anything. This is legit. Windows 8 Consumer Preview ISO images. Just make sure that is there. And you'll have different options to choose from. If you're English, which most of us will probably be, you're going to pick English, and then they have different languages. So you can choose whatever language you please, but I'd recommend English if that is your primary language, obviously. And 64-bit and 32-bit. I know I said I'd show you guys how to check that, so we'll do that right now. What you're going to want to do is go to your Start menu, and then go to your computer. And then you'll notice you have your hard drives and whatnot. But at the top, you'll see System Properties. You'll want to click System Properties. And this will give you a basic rundown of your system stats, or your information you need to know. On mine, I have a processor that is, you don't need to know this, but it is obviously higher than, faster than 1 gigahertz. I have a 2.3 gigahertz processor, so I am okay. And I have a 64-bit operating system, and you may have a 32-bit or 64-bit. I recommend staying with whatever number you have. If you have a 32-bit, I recommend staying with a 32-bit. And if it is 64, I recommend just sticking with the 64, just to be safe. And as you can see, I have my installed memory or RAM is obviously higher than 2 gigabytes, which is for the 64-bit, and mine is 6 gigabytes. So I am A-OK. So, since I have a 64-bit, I personally want to download this version. But if you have a 32-bit, you'll want to download this version. And this is the product key you will need to activate the Windows 8. So I recommend writing this down or using another computer. It's always good to have a second computer so you can watch this video as you work on installing this, or cell phone, or whatever you can watch this YouTube video off of. But if you don't, I recommend writing down all my steps to do this. And this is the product key you'll need, like I said, to activate. So make sure you remember this. And once you have this downloaded, you just click and then it'll ask you to download. But I've already got it downloaded, so I don't need to. And the next thing you'll need is the USB DVD tool. I already have that downloaded too, and I'll have a link. It'll be the second link in my description. But to get to it just from this site right here, you're going to scroll down, and towards the bottom, you'll see how to install Windows 8 Consumer Preview from an ISO image. You'll just click the USB DVD download tool. I guess I didn't have to do that, considering the fact I have it saved right here. But anyways, the Windows 7 DVD download tool. When you click that link, it'll take you here. And it'll have you an overview and stuff, but what you want to do is just scroll down to the installation and click this. And it'll ask you to save the file. And you save the file. But I've already done that, so once it saves, you need to install that software onto your computer. Once you have that software downloaded or installed, what you're going to want to do is open up your Windows USB DVD tool. And once that opens up, it should look like this, obviously. And you want to choose an ISO file. You're going to want to choose the Windows 8 ISO file we have currently downloaded. And to find that, the best way to find it is just click your downloads, and it should be right there. And then you choose next. And this is where you use your USB device or DVD. And I want to be crystal clear. I don't know how much clearer I can be than this. The DVD or USB device has to be completely clean. Nothing on them. If you're using a USB device, it does not have to be new. It could be a USB device you have lying around the house that's 4 gigabytes. And to make it clean, all you have to do is just back up your file. Whatever files you have on USB, I'd put on another USB drive or something that you can save it on. And then just plug it in and click USB device. It'll ask you to format, and if you click yes to format, it'll just clean your USB drive. And if you have a DVD, just stick the DVD in. It has to be clean, nothing, never been used, and it will save this ISO to the DVD. You only need to do one of these. You do not need to do both. So if you choose USB device, do not do DVD. And if you choose to use a DVD, do not have to do the USB. So let's pretend I have a USB device in, which I do not. But let's pretend I do. And remember, it needs to be 4 gigabytes or more. I'd click USB device, and it would take me to step 3. And step 3, all it does is it just takes the ISO file that you have and save it to the USB. And then step 4 will be complete. And same with the DVD. Step 3 will put the ISO file on the DVD. And then step 4 will be complete. And once it's complete, you just need to close out of this software. You do not need it anymore. The next step will be making sure you're ready. Pretty much, you have to make sure you're ready to do this, because the next step, which I cannot record the screen because it involves restarting the computer. So I'll try my best to explain what to do. What you're going to do is you're just going to go to your start menu and restart your computer, which I'm not going to do because I cannot record the screen as I'm restarting the computer. But your computer will start saying shutting down, and you'll notice stuff going on in the middle and say shutting down. Then the screen will go black. And once it goes black, you want to keep an eye on the bottom left corner, because soon you'll notice that it'll say press escape to open up this menu or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says press escape, and it'll be in white letters while your screen is black. And when it says that, you want to press escape. And then it'll say, it'll take a few seconds, and another menu will pop up, and there'll be more options up in the top left corner. And one of them you want to select how to boot your computer or something like that. I really wish I could remember what it says, but I don't, and I'm sorry. But it's one of them that says something concerning of how to start or boot your computer. You want to select that, and if you select the right one, it will say Windows Boot menu at the top. Not that toolbar that showed up, but it will say Windows Boot menu at the top, I believe. And they'll ask if you want to boot Windows normally, or if you want to boot Windows off a DVD, or boot Windows off a USB and stuff like that. If you chose to put the ISO file on the DVD, you want to boot off the DVD. And if you chose to save the ISO file to the USB, you want to boot off the USB. And once you boot off the whatever device you use, DVD or USB, it'll take you a few seconds, and then a Windows menu that looks like this should pop up. And like I said, I had to take pictures because I can't record, so I'm trying to explain the best way I can. And once this menu comes up, do not click next. I can't be any more clear than this. Do not click next. And I just realized I forgot a very important factor. Before you go to this step, before you restart your computer, you need to go to this site. I apologize for this confusing, but let's pretend we went backwards. Before we restart our computer, you need to go to this site. It'll be the third link. And let me just delete this stuff. When you're in the installer, you'll be needing to open up your command prompt, and you'll be needing to make a virtual hard drive. And when you're creating the size of the virtual hard drive, you need to know the megabytes of it, because that's all the command prompt knows. It does not know gigabytes. Since this is only a preview of Windows 8, I do not recommend going higher than 50 gigabytes because that's a little unnecessary. But just make sure you have the space. But what you want to do is, I prefer 30. It needs to be more than 25, but I prefer 30. For example, 30 gigabytes. And you convert, and you need to remember this number of how many megabytes this is. 30 gigabytes is 30,720 megabytes. And that is something you need to remember. If you want to do the same as me, just go with this. And if you want to go a little bit more, you can, but I do not recommend going higher than 50 because it's a little unnecessary for a consumer preview of Windows 8. But anyways, pretend now that we went back and we rebooted and got to this menu. And at this menu, you do not want to press next. Do not press next, because that's not what you need to do. What you need to do is hold the Shift key on your keyboard, hold Shift and press F10 while holding Shift. And it should open up your command prompt. Your command prompt will look like this, and as I have to open it this way because I'm not on this menu, I have to search through here. So command prompt. This is what the command prompt looks like. Your stuff will say some different stuff at the top, like administrators, stuff like that. So it'll be a little different, but this is pretty much the exact same thing. And what you're going to do is right off the bat, you're going to write. I'm going to type very slow so you can follow along, and I'll give you some time to type it down. But you want to type disk part, just like that, no space or anything. Disk part. And once you have that, you want to press enter. And yours will not open up another window like this. On mine it did. On yours it won't. But this thing will come up. This disk part in all caps will pop up after a few seconds. And once that pops up, you want to go to the next step. You want to type list volume. And notice how this one has a space. There is a space between the words. And once you have list volume, you want to press enter on your keyboard again. And this will show you your different hard drives. Laptops tend to have more volumes than desktops do. I don't know why. It just does. Well, I mean, I do know why, but I don't want to get too much into detail. Anywho, you want to find your main hard drive. And obviously this one's my main hard drive as it is the biggest. I have like a 600 gigabyte hard drive around there, I'm guessing. I can't remember exactly. I think it's 600. But this is my main, and that's how much memory I have left. And it is the letter C. Mine may or may not be the same letter as yours. So you do not want to copy the exact same letter unless it is the same when I type this next thing. So let's say if your main thing is E, when we're doing the next part, you're going to want to type E into where I type C. But I'll start typing right now so you can see. Where you want to type next is create space v disk file equal sign, And since my main hard drive is the letter C, I want to type a capital C. If yours is an E, you want to type an E there. Whatever yours is, you type that exact same letter there. And then you want to do a colon. Oops, that is semicolon. A colon. And I believe this is a forward slash. I don't know my slash as well, so you just want the exact same slash as that. And then you want to type Windows 8. And make sure the W is capitalized on Windows. Dot VHD for virtual hard drive. And once you have that, you're going to click the space bar and then type maximum equals, and remember that converter that we did with the 30 gigabytes and we got 30,720 megabytes? This is where you create how big you want your virtual hard drive. And like I said, it only recognizes megabytes. So if I want my virtual hard drive to be 30 gigabytes, I have to type it in megabytes. So that is 30,720. And then you want to click enter. I will not be clicking enter on mine as it will erase my Windows 8, and which I do not want. So when you click enter, it will say, it'll give you a percentage bar, and it'll say 1% complete, 2%, and it'll just keep on going up. And once it's 100% complete, the next command you're going to type in, do not delete like I am now, because that will mess things up. I'm just doing that on mine so I don't mess up my Windows 8. But once that's done creating your virtual hard drive disk, it will say 100% complete, and then you'll be able to do your next command. And your next command will be select the disk file equals, since my drive is a C, make sure you type whatever hard drive yours is, mine is C, colon, / Windows, make sure Windows is the W is capitalized, Windows 8.VHD, and you're going to click enter, and it will select that hard drive. And once it's done selecting it, do not delete like I am. I'm just doing that so I don't mess up my Windows 8. But once you press enter and it selects it, then you'll want to click attach the disk and press enter. And once you press enter, it will attach that virtual hard drive to this installer that you see. Remember, you only want to do this command prompt at this installer. You do not want to do this step while you're in Windows 7 like I am, or else it will not work. So once you type attach vdisk, you press enter and it'll say it has attached the disk to this installer. And once that is done, you're just going to type exit and you'll press enter, and it will take you out of all your commands, and then you just click X to leave it. And once you have that done, you're able to click next. Oh, you can click next, but now after you've done that virtual hard drive stuff, you just click next. And once you click next, you just keep on clicking next and just following what it says. And come on. Okay. And after you've been given information stuff, once you get to this menu, you want to click custom install Windows only. For advanced, you want to click this one. If you click this one, you pretty much screwed up. So do not click this one. All that hard work for nothing. Click custom. This is bueno, good, amazing, great. Can't think of any other words to use, but that's the one you want to click. And then it will take you to this menu. I forgot to take a picture of this, so I found a picture on 8forms.com of this picture, so this is not the exact of like my hard drives, but this is a great example. Once you create a virtual hard drive, you'll have your different disks or hard drives. And the one you created will say disk 1 or disk some number unallocated space. That is the virtual hard drive you just created. And for example, since mine was 30 gigabytes, mine would say 30 gigabytes here. And then the type would probably be blank. Or yes, it would be blank. But the unallocated space is the new hard drive we made. So you're going to highlight that by clicking it. And then you'll get this warning saying Windows cannot be installed to this disk. Ignore it. What you want to do is click Next. And then, I know this is here, but we'll come back to this. Once you click let Windows 8 install and do what it needs to do, it will take about 30 minutes to an hour. And once it's done installing, it will start you up in Windows 8. Windows 8, then you can have fun, explore, do whatever you want. But let's say you want to get back to Windows 7 or Windows Vista or whatever you have as your main operating system. To do that, you just restart your computer, and as it boots up, you'll get this menu. And you can choose to either start up Windows, even though it says developer, it's actually customer preview now. It'll say Windows customer preview, Windows 7. And you just click this one if you want to start Windows 8, or you click this one if you want to start Windows 7. This will always pop up. Always. But let's say, oh, you do not like Windows 8. You think it's stupid. I personally love it. I think it's great. It takes some time to get used to, but once you get a hang of it, it's a lot better. But let's say you don't want it anymore, or the customer preview ends, which I believe ends in October when the release date of the actual operating system is. I'm not positive, but I think that's the date. It's sometime in October, but I'm not sure. Anyways, if you want to delete Windows 8, it is very, very simple. When you start up your computer, you want to choose Windows 7. I want to make this bold so you do not screw anything up. Start up Windows 7. Windows 7 is bueno. Good. Do not start up this. Start Windows 7. And once you start up Windows 7 and get to your main desktop, what you want to do is go to your start menu, go to computer, and then you want to right click your computer down here. I'm going to make sure. See this computer right down here? You want to right click it, go to properties, and it'll take you to this menu where you got your basic stats from last time. But you want to go to advanced system settings. And you'll see all these tabs. You want to be under the advanced section. And you'll notice that there's 3 different sections. You want to go up to start. You want to go to the startup and recovery settings. And once here, you'll notice that the default operating system is Windows 8. You want to change your default back to Windows 7 or Vista or XP, and you can uncheck this. And then you want to press OK. But since I don't want that, I still want Windows 8 on mine. I'll press cancel. But if you want to plan on deleting it, make sure you press OK. And once your Windows 7 or your main operating system is your main default again, you go, I'll just exit out this to make sure you guys know how to get there easily. Back to your start menu, computer, and then you'll notice your 2 hard drive. Well, mine has 2. You might have more or less. But you want to go to your local disk, your main hard drive. And then you'll notice that there's one that says Windows 8.VHD. That is the virtual hard drive that we created. And to simply delete it, you just right click and click delete. Simple as that. Windows 8 and all its settings and stuff are saved into this virtual hard drive right here. And like I said, to delete it, you just right click and delete. And there you go. Your main operating system is your main default and only operating system once again. And with that, I hope I helped you guys out. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me or ask. If you guys need a more detailed, clear explanation of things, I'll try my best to explain. I tried to do that as crystal clear as I could. My problem is I can't record while at the install boot or with the installation of Windows 8 or anything. So I had to explain with pictures and stuff. And make sure when you guys are doing the command prompt which is all that that black V, creating the V disk and stuff, make sure you're doing that at the installment of Windows 8, like that main menu I showed. Make sure you do it at this menu only, this menu. It can't be any more clear, because if you do it in Windows 7 or your main operating system like right now, it will not work. So just make sure when you're at this menu, you do your command prompt. And to remember, to open up the command prompt, you hold Shift and press F10 on your keyboard. That is how you open up your command prompt. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope this helps you guys a lot, and please subscribe. Peace.